Hey, everybody, it's third Tuesday. I'm all the way off again. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Yes. We got some topics. Yes. Not the beeping in the background. Hopefully y'all enjoyed y'all weekend, first and foremost. And yes, we are here. We got some topics. Got some things to talk about. And we got some things to talk about. So, how's the weather? JK. Let me see. Let me see something right quick. I know Temptations. You ever heard Temptations? If you ain't heard Temptations, we gotta talk. Disclaimer: remember that the videos presented here are for information purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, you should do your research and consult with specialists at the institution you're interested in. I'm not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator Henry is only speaking from his experience. Let's go. Let's make sure you save money in school. Let's go. Shut up. Wait. Hang that up or somebody call me. Be like, I go. You know, yeah. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Shio News, as you know, Shio Higher Education Policy Update. They give us topics every day about what's going on, headlines that is going on. And let me go over here and set this up and do that. All right, quick. Let's make sure y'all can hear me real quick. Okay, y'all can hear me. Oh my crap, the glass is crooked looking at this, but so SHIELD update. National policy. We got federal student loan repayment rates at HBCUs and other institutions explaining the differences. That is the review of Black political economy. Report data governance 101. Now that first one, I was trying to read that and look at a little bit of that to see what that was about. Because for that to make the SHIELD headline, that's pretty big. But it was it wouldn't let me get it. One of the perks of graduating from college, you lose access to your student email. And if you don't work at a bigger school per se, you don't get access to certain articles like that one. The Trump, they literally said the Trump push to bring more conservative views to college campuses, Politico. Federal SNAP cuts and Pell funding shortfall risk worsening disparities in food insecurity, college persistence, and attainment. Wait. I think our first conversation is yeah. So I do need to pull that up. Is that it? No, yeah. Oh, y'all, share my screen. Yes, yeah. quick because I can't even do that. Let me see something right quick. So while y'all reviewing that, I'll go ahead and back up. All right. So loan rules would gut aid for thousands of low-paying college majors. I thought that was a good one, but I think that wasn't a free one though. That wasn't a free one. And then that's gonna bother me. If that's bothering me, I know that's gonna bother y'all. See something right quick. Let me see. This is gonna be one of the articles we cover, but I think that's better to look at than a blank screen, personally. All right. Try to give you something to look at when I'm talking, so you just don't look at me like So then FSA provides best practices for institutions to prevent FAFSA fraud. That's the NASFAA. I believe they call it NASFA, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's NASFA. I'm not in that financial aid heavily like that, but that's NASFA. A cheat sheet to the Trump accreditation overhaul. That's what we got pulled up right there. We're going to cover that. And Senator Ted Cruz announces saving others for college sports legislation hearing, calls it a win. And then, fun fact, that is we're actually gonna cover that story. State policy, Colorado press release signed, trio of bills to support higher education students. Florida lawmakers aim to give statewide board power to amend Gen Ed. Well, Florida is going crazy with these authorizations and allowing things. Georgia, a new entity looks to enter the mysterious industry of accreditation. What's at stake? Illinois, Guzman, a legislation to address campus sexual harassment and support survivors, passes Senate. Louisiana, I believe. Higher ed, LA and Louisiana, higher ed construction spending rise in Louisiana budget package. I thought that was Louisiana. It's funny that you got two LAs, LA, Louisiana, LA, California. But California probably CA, not LA. LA is the city. Minnesota, students will see campus upgrades thanks to new state funding. Here is which colleges got money. New Mexico leads nation in college aid application growth, but it's still near bottom overall. Virginia lawmakers surprised by Spanberger's veto of higher ed governance bills. Wow, that one might have to get covered. Let me see if that's our article. That is something we should be talking about. Yeah, it's an article for that one. So y'all keep me on game with that. That's something we need to cover. Wisconsin press release. Universities of Wisconsin border regions to consider modest below inflation tuition increase. Okay. Sound like gonna be a little bit increase, but not major. All right. So how does this? Let's go, man. Let's go. How does this affect us? Hit that button. Why they be like that button? Like, like, you know, the button that makes the sound effects. So let's go to the video that I had pulled up. So, let me go to this first. So there's been a lot going on in Florida. Earlier, the Chronicles of Higher Education stated that like Iowa was going to be the main state to talk about this year, but Iowa is getting some competition about being the most talked about as far as higher education, right, for their state. So Florida has actually been doing a lot of things as well, but Florida is always doing a lot of things. Like and subscribe. Florida is always doing a lot of things that catches the eye. That's why we put Governor Ron DeSANTIS. That's why we got Trump, because the Republicans are always doing some things that hits the headlines. And then as we keep going into that, I can't do nothing but play this video before I talk about it. I might as well play the video first and let y'all see what I'm talking about first. So I'm gonna be quiet.
First at 10, Florida House and Senate leaders have reached a final deal on the state budget. The deal was reached following a special session. The spending plan for the fiscal year that starts July 1st will be nearly $115 billion.
Oh, my bad. I forgot to tell y'all. So New College of Florida, I don't know what that is. We're going to look it up after this. But New College of Florida, I think it's a college. New College of Florida could take over University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee campus. That's what this is about.
The new spending plan secures billions for K-12 public schools alongside the state's private school voucher program. It also funnels more than $500 million into Everglades restoration projects and sets aside nearly $100 million combined to boost cancer research and help patients afford essential prescription medications. It now awaits Governor DeSantis' signature. Also inside that budget deal, a major shakeup in higher education. State lawmakers have reached an agreement that would transfer the USF Sarasota Manatee campus to New College of Florida. It's a move championed by Governor Ron DeSantis for the past 2 years. If the budget is approved, the deal would go into effect in July. Fox 13's Jennifer Vegas joins us live in the newsroom. Jennifer, what are university leaders saying about the impact this could have?
Yeah, Haley, tonight I spoke to the campus's chancellor and 2 board members. There's a lot of questions that they say remain unanswered, but one major concern is money and how New College could take on USF SM's $53 million of debt as the state's smallest public college institution.
USF Sarasota Manatee Board Vice Chair Dr. Anila Jain says earning a degree from the campus isn't just an academic achievement, it's also an immense source of pride.
A top-notch education with great faculty that are renowned all over the world, lots of Fulbright scholars. They're also at an AAU university.
But now, the future of the 32-acre campus with more than 2,000 students hangs in the balance, with state lawmakers reaching an agreement Sunday night to dissolve USF Sarasota Manatee and transfer its property, including new labs and dorms, to New College of Florida, a school with just 900 students, by October 30th. The act states students enrolled at USF SM before July 1st will get priority use of classroom spaces and be placed on a teach-out process as USF students for up to 4 years. Then, USF programs will dissolve too.
Programs that are offered at USF SM are not offered at New College, like nursing, over 200 nursing students. We have hospitality, accounting.
Dr. Jane's concern, the $166,000 monthly debt payoff bill New College will have to take on for USF.
They're also financially constrained right now. So what happens down the road if they cannot meet those obligations?
New College must also honor USF dorm leases through October 2027. USF SM board member Bill Mariotti is the campus's biggest donor to date. His dollars helped fund the dorms.
Community needed it. The community supported it.
As a graduate from the campus, he says he's disappointed in Governor DeSantis and legislators.
It's hard on the employees, the teachers, professors, the staff, everyone that's employed at USF. I feel sorry for them.
Campus Chancellor Dr. Karen Holbrook agrees.
Just extremely sad, and I kept thinking about it all day long, and I can't get it out of my mind because that campus was so important.
Now, I reached out to both colleges for a statement, but I have not heard back. Now, again, the governor still needs to sign off on this budget, so it is not a done deal just yet. In the newsroom, Jennifer Vegas, Fox 13 News.
Wow.
Still muted. Sorry. I said we just watched it on the small screen. We were still muted. Sorry. So yeah, guys, USF, we're gonna do this thing, right? All right, so I think they put it really in simple terms. think they flowed it perfectly. USF was in debt. The University of South Florida was in major debt. Hold on right quick. They were in major debt. I didn't know the University of South Florida was in so much debt. University of South Florida. Let's see. All right, so I did not know the University of South Florida was in so much debt, but it said University of South Florida releases new rendering of new football stadium. You see what I'm saying? So they was like in they said I think University of South Florida was in like $51 million of debt. Let me see. 51 million debt. Yeah, it's saying roughly. Yeah, overly a little crazy right now, but let's see. Oh, we got another news article. Let's see. Let me zoom out for you real quick. Put this school on spotlight. No, yeah, that. So its new college strategist says transfer of USF dorm debt will kill the college. So going to the I'm gonna keep that up for you all. So I'm going back to the Chronicles of Education because they wrote and said it first. I believe that's where I got it from. All right, critics blast new college transfer. So a former president of the University of South Florida at Sarasta, if I said that right, Sarasta, Manti at Sarasta, I'm gonna just say Sarasta Manti, called the branch and its 40 plus programs a collateral damage in a controversial deal to give its campus to New College of Florida. New College is getting 32 acres plus buildings and taking on Sarah Osta Manti's $53 million debt. I almost said billion. $53 million debt. So that campus, I don't know what USF as a whole, I don't know what they're looking like as far as like money-wise, financial help as an institution. But that campus was $53 million in debt. And what does that mean? You heard them say they was going to do a teach out for the kids. So I think they said the kids, you could play it back. I think they said the kids were going to have like 4 years to go there if they wanted to attend on that campus, while they were going to slowly, of course, be implementing the new College of Florida. And I don't even know what a new College of Florida is. Let me see. New College. I'll actually duplicate that. New College of Florida. So, New College of Florida, before I get into that, going back to that. So, this is an article by, actually, it's sponsored by NPR. I think NPR owns this, but it's WUSF. And then it says Nathan Allen, who resigned as vice president at New College in 2024, says it's nuts to assume $53 million in debt against no added revenue yet. That is what's happening. So apparently the way they worded it, let's keep going. But I think New College of Florida made a terrible mistake and USF got off with the win. Let's see. So a former top strategist at New College of Florida called Governor Ron DeSANTIS' proposal to transfer 32 acres of land and buildings along with $53 million in debt from the University of South Florida. Sarah, why do we got to keep saying that? But University of South Florida Sarah Osta Manti campus to new college. Lethal, he called it lethal, warning it would drown the small liberal arts college in a insurmountable debt. Nathan Allen, who resigned from New College in 2024, said the result would be the closure of both campuses and the state selling off the respective properties along Sarosta's bayfront to pay the debt. Okay. How do you assume $50 million in debt against no revenue? Allen said, in the business world, if you were a CEO and you would be sued by your shareholders out of existence. Like, that's nuts. And yet that is what's happening. So they're getting mad that the new College of Florida has took on, like, hey, you took on a $53 million debt or building and all this, and there's no revenue to show for it. I don't know. So New College relies heavily on special allocations from legislature, private donations, and hurricane recovery money, Allen said. Tuition brings in revenue too, he said, but it's essentially canceled out by how much the school spends on scholarships. See, when schools got to spend money on scholarships, what? Money. That's why I say it's kind of like you want to be independent. Like, a big reason why you want to start a 2-year bridge to a 4-year, because if a school gives you a scholarship, like we're talking about schools, if schools got to pitch out scholarships, it's kind of taking away like them, like it's kind of like them rinsing and repeating the money. You pay the money to the school, they take the money that you pay to the school, and then we're gonna take the money and give it back as a scholarship to students who could need the money. You know, like, but they're essentially it's coming in and going out. Essentially, that's what they're saying with paying for tuition and scholarship. At the same time, New College far outspends its peers in the university system. So New College is part of the university system, but I never heard of New College. So the New College of Florida, if we jump to the this real quick, the New College of Florida is a public liberal arts college in Saratoga. I bet everybody in Florida right now probably watch me say, no, it's Sarah. I'm definitely saying Sarah Hosta. I think I'm saying it right. Let me see. Pronunciation. Sarasota, like soda. Oh, I can get that. Sarasota, not Sarah Hosta. I was saying Sarah Hosta. I like Sarah Hosta better, but Sarasota. They're gonna know.
Sarasota.
It sounds like Sarasota, though. Definitely sound like Sarasota. So Sarasota, Florida, United States, founded in 1960. It opened in 1964 and was a private college. It ran into financial difficulty in the 1970s and was merged into the University of South Florida. Interesting. Why does this matter? Because this school might not be in good financial health in the next 2 to 3, 4 years. I don't know. But that's what they're allegedly saying. But we don't know what they probably had plans for that building. Maybe they might rent the building out. Maybe they said we'll turn this campus into like nothing but acres and turn it into housing or something where they can rent out the housing or turn it into a tourist area. You know, like I tell people all the time, like Georgia Tech owns like a strip where they got like Waffle House, UPS stores, Amazon stores, all these strips of places you'll eat at Moe's. And Georgia Tech, if I'm not mistaken, because it's on their campus, literally they own all that, but they still let businesses be on their campus. And that's why I say I'm not against schools running it like a business per se, but I'm just against that the universities, some of them are running it really terrible. And so they're not really managing the money properly. That's where we really have said, like, some schools are doing, I probably say like 10% of schools are doing it right, 90% of schools are doing it wrong. So I'm usually talking about the 90% of schools. Georgia Tech was pretty good. They were pretty good. They're pretty good. They got their stuff together. They were like one of the, fun fact, I think Georgia Tech is one of the largest real estate landholders, like in higher education. They're one of them. They literally have a game, a Monopoly game, where it's like, I think it's Monopoly, where you could play like Monopoly with Georgia Tech. It's crazy. So, yeah. That's what we get right now. All right. So okay. Adding to the new colleges, I think they talking about new college of Florida. Adding to the new colleges financial troubles, he said it is an exorbitant amount of debt that it has been carrying for years. So they have about $17 million in debt. That's about 2.5, I believe, 2.5 times what? Yeah, 2.5. 2.5 times what they should have to hit the SUS. What they should have to hit the. Let me show y'all real quick. That's about 2 times what they should have to hit the state university system average. Huh. Oh wow. I got like pretty much double and a half the state university system average. And this is why a new college has not been able to borrow money for well over a decade, Allen said. So they are basically assuming a massive amount of debt off market. And that is important because no bank would lend them this money. When colleges assume more debt than they can manage, they end up closing, often abruptly. This was the case with University of Arts in Philadelphia, which shuttered in 2024, and Cazenovia College in New York, which closed in 2023 after defaulting on debt. Based on that kind of history, Allen said, new college won't be around in a couple of years. He said that boldly. He said, hey, new college, if you look, he didn't say it, but if you go to new college, if you planning on going, if you're in Florida right now, Florida, stand up. Y'all probably watching this live stream because I don't know why. There's something going on. I don't know. But listen, they said, based on this kind of history, he said new college won't be around in a couple of years. The land will be auctioned off to pay the debt. Then they go into the balance sheets. Oh, we get some balance sheet action. Hold on. We get some balance sheet action. All right. Can y'all see that? I'm gonna look on y'all screen. So look, this new college, what balance sheet this is? The screenshot of financial statements from 2024 shows new college Florida long-term debt at 17.9 million. Because usually supposed to tell you like in millions up here on the balance sheet. At 17.9. Oh, there you go. Long-term debt. 17.9 million. They don't do that. They don't do it like the other like when you look at companies on the SEC.gov, companies on the stock market, they do like in thousands, then if it's commas, millions, if it's in millions and commas and billions, but this they putting it actually how it is, which is interesting. So they have a long-term debt, what they're saying right here, of 17.9 million, almost 18 million. And their total liabilities, what they should have said, their total liabilities is 19 million. While their total assets is 19.4. You did. And then I don't even know how much cash they have on hand. But if you look right here, it says their net position is only 270, pretty much 279,000 rounded. So their liabilities almost outweigh their assets. Their total liabilities almost outweigh their assets, literally almost. Why that's not good? Because I'm not the biggest, as I say, financial person. But real quick before we go to the next segment, It's not good. And many schools are in this situation. Now you might say, well, Henry, if many schools are in this situation, why are they still open and running? Because that's why the politic comes in. You notice if you've been watching Rocking, like and subscribe if you stop by. If you've been rocking with me and just chilling with me and just stopping by a little bit, some schools are going to be open regardless. That's the political behind it. Like, would we ever see a school like UGA close down? Never. Probably not. I really think schools like that will be around. Those like your blue chip schools. Those schools will be around for the next 100, 200 years. Columbia, Yale, those schools are going to be around for hundreds of 200s. Like when we're gone, they're going to still be around. Hopefully, if the right leadership stays in and they don't lose their prestige, you have to maintain it. I know it seems like these schools don't never go nowhere, but that's why they have to keep recruiting the best talent, like workers, students, like instructors, presidents. You got to keep putting the right people in leadership and office and all that, because schools can end up like this one. And a lot of schools are like, some of their balance sheets look like this, but they're being saved by the state, the university system, the governor. So it's all those things that can keep a school running. That's why I tell you guys, which adds on to my theory, because I don't want to shatter schools like that. I don't really want to break their hearts that much. But that's why I tell you, like, some schools are not what you think they are no more. And you're not really getting the bang on your butt like you would hope. And so this is why another reason why you want to go to a school that has money. Because you go to a school that don't have no money, now you can't go study abroad. Now you have to really hustle to go study abroad. You got to use and study your school, like discounting your study abroad trip. Now you got to pay full price to go study abroad. And I'm just thinking really big, but on a smaller level, this is why your school got to up the tuition. That's why your school got to up the fees. This is why your school got to keep like up in the housing for some reason, or like because they don't have their things on priority. And some schools got their things in priority, but they still gonna charge you arm and a leg. That's just nature of the beast. So remember, always go to a school that's healthy. It's really important to go to a school that's healthy, a college that's healthy. You might not think it's important, but that person said new college. Let me go back to it. Like and subscribe. This person said that New College of Florida, if you go there, he said, this person, Allen, said that this school will not be around in years. So if you are a student that's in high school, let's just say you're a junior in high school. Let's say you are a freshman in college, like it applies to you. And like, or a person who plans on going to this school randomly, you already been out of high school, whatever the case is. You are putting yourself in a situation where you might get to your junior year in college at this school. And what am I doing? Go on the website, Harry. Dang, man, you got to do better. You got to do better, man. This is why we live stream. This makes it engaging. You see that? Look at all that. Boom, boom, boom. Look at it. Look at them having fun. Volleyball, dolphins, art, theater, the arts. Dance with me. Dance with me. And I wrap myself around with the cord. So schools like this, he said that wasn't me. You seen it. Play the live stream back. They said that this school won't be around in years. So if you are a junior and they say, oh, we're shutting down, maybe they'll tell you, or maybe they'll just, he said they closed, like schools in the past closed down abruptly, which means they close down immediately, swiftly, promptly. They don't tell nobody. Then when the school starts going downhill, they lose accreditation. Sometimes when the school closed down, you can't get your transcripts back from them because the school is not up no more. See, on the long game, it seems scary. On the short term, it's fun and it don't matter. But when they say your college is not up no more, you need to get your transcripts to go to college, and they tell you like, well, you just have to retake your classes again. I'm serious. That's what they're going to tell you. you get stuck and you graduate from this college, or you get stuck and they close down this college out of nowhere and the school loses accreditation and you need to get your transcripts, but the school is closed down and you have nowhere to go and get it, you got to retake classes. Remember, we talk for the future on this channel. We talk for the future. We're not talking now. I think everything we talk about on this channel is the future. Some things can be now, but a lot of things can be now. But a lot of, I don't know, it's kind of even. Like most of it be like the future, because it happens so much that it just, nobody really says, well, by the time it comes around, I won't be there. That's what most people say. I'm not that person. Like and subscribe. I'm here to help. Started 2-year, bridge to a 4-year. This is why. That school that you want to go to that is probably known, this is a way how you can go to safe schools. This is another way how you can go to safe schools. Literally. That's why I want you to. You think I don't want you going to university? Is people really this crazy that people don't pop in and just turn on this live screen and say, let me see what he's really saying? People really think I don't want you to go to a university. People are crazy. I went to a university. I went to, Valdosta State for my people in Georgia, Valdosta State, Columbus Tech, or y'all probably don't want to hear my 2-year. I went to the Georgia State. If I go get a doctoral ever in life for some crazy reason, which I don't think I will, but I will go to a university again. I want you to advance your education. But people are being selfish out here, making you think we don't want you to go sometimes. Like, no, nobody has said it. I'm just talking just talking. Like, people really don't want you going to, people would think like the way I talk, guys, they don't want you to go to, they think I don't want you to go to university when I clearly want you to go to university. I just feel like you should start at a 2-year. With the way the economy is, the way things are going in the future, like you can get into the workforce faster with a 2-year degree, and then keep going to college while you're going to your university. Keep going to college. Keep working while you're going to college at your university. Knock out the rest of those 60 credits. When you start a 2-year and you get an associate's degree, you get that's like 60 credits right there. Then when you go to university, that's like another 60 credits. And you get 2 graduations. Double the money. You be like, yeah, I'm graduating again, y'all. I'm graduating again. They'll be like, hold on, how many college graduations you had? Like, more money. That's how I see it too. But all right, next topic. We went a little over on that. That was, I like that though. I like that. That's very helpful, man. It's very helpful. See the school, new college in Florida. Play it back if you wonder what we talked about. Like and subscribe. So what is Trump back in office? Trump did something. And I can't put my finger on it. What did he do? What did Trump do? Oh, maybe that's what. No, it's not in there. Let me see. It might be on the. Really? It might be. Oh, that's what it was. The accreditation overhaul. I'm already on it. That's why I can't find it. Because I'm already in the tab of it. I don't think we need that no more. All right. A cheat sheet to the Trump accreditation overhaul. Hey, if you don't know what's going on with Trump, you better pay attention. Especially if you plan on going to college, you better pay attention. If you living in this country, you better pay attention for real. Because, like, man, just being from, I don't know my neck. I think I got it. I don't know. Being from where I'm from, man, it's some things I wish I would have paid attention to a little more coming up. I know y'all like you're only this age. Still though, you know, I feel like if I was into politics a little early when I was in high school, I feel like I would have just been more hip and up to speed on why politics is important. And I know that we know politics is important now, but seeing how much politics is in education, it just makes me be like, bro, we gotta pay attention. We gotta play the bigger game. We gotta see what's going on. Can y'all see me? Well, I know I'm a little low right now because I got this blocking my face right now. But so Trump administration, changes are coming July 2026 summer. Changes are coming. So the Trump administration is finalizing a federal rule that will overhaul accreditation, a destination colleges must earn to be eligible for federal financial aid. I cannot stress we cannot stress how important that's going to be for you all. Picking a school that meets the Trump administration's federal financial aid policy. Now, the thing that I'm a little curious about, and I'm not even the biggest political person, is that Trump is doing this with executive orders. That's something we're not thinking about. So if he's doing these with executive orders, will the next administration, just saying, will the next administration do executive orders to reverse this? Or do something to help? Because if your school does not meet the requirements, you are not getting federal financial aid. That's what they're saying. I don't know if they're misleading us, but that's what they're saying in print. This is by somebody who is pretty credited because this source comes from SHIO. SHIO puts this out. You know, they put out really credible articles. And so a destination colleges must earn to be eligible for federal financial aid. These include student loans and Pell Grants. Most colleges rely on a slice of this $120 billion funding pie to stay in business. Man, I should have majored in freaking finance. I should have majored in economics. Or like, I think if I can go back to school and do it, I think I would have did like economics and undergrad. I think, no. I think I would have did economics with a minor in politics or something, but I technically took a lot of political science classes. That's why I'm a little savvy on politics. But I would have definitely probably took definitely been majoring in economics, like macro or something. Because the way the dollar moves and how the money rotates into like 120 billion in funding is like crazy. It's crazy to me. It's so interesting. $120 billion funding pie to stay in business. However, the U.S. Department of Education accreditation plan is inappropriately spiraling. It would alter far more than, for instance, what policies accreditors would need to follow to become gatekeepers of federal financial aid. Trump administration officials have written a regulation that would post mandates on accreditors that are ill-equipped to handle, like verifying that colleges are complying with civil rights laws and the First Amendment. Now, if you know us, we haven't really. I know some might say that's why we bring people on. You know, bring them on for a quick little talk. If they know higher ed really good on the civil rights side, civil rights law side, and the First Amendment, because that really gets into law a little bit. And believe it or not, you can do higher education law. That is literally a specialty. Yes, higher education has a law. Like, you know, people do law for it. So as we keep going, the education department finished large portions of its proposal during a process called negotiated rulemaking, where parties affected by regulatory change come together to hash out the rule details. This occurred in sessions in April and May. Remember me talking about they didn't live stream it really, but I think they put the videos out now. I think they put the videos out, but it wasn't live. I don't think. Either way, I was at work. So you know how that goes. So, but I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna just play it, Don't know if it's gonna get many views, but I think I should do that. But so real quick. So when they're talking about April and May, y'all can probably still see that. April and May, I literally have it on the calendar. It was between April 13th to 17th. That's when they did it. It was the Department of Ed AIM committee. And then in May, they did it between May 18th to May 22nd. Why is that important? Because that's when, I'm sorry, Mike, because that's when they did it. They hashed out everything they felt didn't need to be in there. Though the education department has yet to publish the text negotiators voted on, below we recap what the department loved crucial issues crucial. Love critical issues in its draft rule. So accreditation switching. So all this is important. This is all part of what's changing, what's coming in 2026 July, I believe. Didn't I say that? Wait. Should be July. It's July. If it's supposed to be for July, they only have a month to finish this off. So accreditation switching. The education department is seeking to demolish roadblocks for colleges that want to switch accreditor oversees them. Historically, some colleges have tried to jump from an accreditor to evade sanctions. So usually when they say that, if it's universal, what I think they're talking about, like how your school, how your college, so how your school or your college might, when the school is kind of, okay, it's kind of good, it's kind of bad. I'm going to say right now in this conversation, I'm leaning toward it's bad. Because if your school is doing bad, they want to jump to another accreditor because the accreditors they're with currently, if I'm following this right, the accreditors that the accreditors that they are with right now is making it hard for them to pretty much get their accreditation back. So some schools have lost their accreditation. More famously, most recently, the one Morris Brown had lost their accreditation, and the president helped them get it back. But besides that, a school like Morris Brown would probably have tried to jump to another accreditor because they're, like, hey, we trying to get our accreditation back, but you keep saying we're not meeting this threshold, blah, 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 like that. So I'm assuming kind of like that. Just a little example, but let's get back to it. Let's see where they hit going. The department's plan would facilitate exactly that. It would essentially allow for colleges to automatically switch accreditors, so long as they provide proper materials to the education department. The education secretary would be able to block the change if it was discovered the college was trying to circumvent laws or accreditor rules, but that is not guaranteed. Okay. Trump administration officials also intend to remove a prohibition. Y'all getting to really expose me right now. No, not prohibiting. I just want to know the pronunciation, but I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah.
Prohibition.
Prohibition. I was way off. So Trump administration officials also intend to remove a prohibition on accreditation switches for colleges who accreditor punished them in the last 24 months. Oh, I just said that. I did not read this. I promise you I didn't read this. I just said that. I just gave that example. When they're trying who's accreditor or punish them in the last 24 months, that's 2 years. Because schools be trying to get that accreditation back, because if they don't get that accreditation back, it's hard to get students. Because most students don't know about it, and most students fall for the trap. But if you know that your school is not accredited, like me, when my kid go to school and I find out my kid found out, or my kid tell me, or I'll be like, hold on, is y'all accredited? And my kid be like, what's that? And I'll be like, that means the school, like, can your credits transfer? When you go for your master's or your doctoral degree, if that school not accredited, that master's program or doctoral program not accepting you because the school wasn't accredited. It's such a big deal. So real nerd vibe right there, right? So like and subscribe. This provision formalizes and expands guidance the administration released last year, which allowed colleges to automatically move accreditors if the education department does not respond to their request within 30 days. So a few bearers for new accreditors. Should we go through that? I don't got no water either. So what kind of like is afforded? So I'm gonna do top of line. So the education department controls which accreditors become financial aid gatekeepers. Hold on, wait, did we just read that? I don't know. I feel like we just read that. But the education department controls which accreditors become financial aid gatekeepers, a process called recognition. The standard regulation sets a defined timeline for the amount of experience an agency must have before being granted recognition. Accreditors must accredit at least one college or program and carry out other typical duties for 2 years before applying. The waiting period gives the department an opportunity to observe whether an accreditor can consistently apply its standards before conferring it gatekeeper authority over federal aid. It's interesting that they use a gatekeeper with accreditors. It's very interesting. But pretty much, fast forward. But the Trump accreditation plan would axe, as you see right there, axe that 2-year requirement. Instead, an aspirant accreditor, if I said it right, aspirant accreditor will only need to establish their standards and operating procedures before applying for recognition. A would-be accreditor will also need to accredit at least one college or program before being granted recognition, but for an unspecified amount of time. That's crazy. So really, they're not putting no standard or timeline on how you can become an accreditor. So I guess I see why they're saying that it was going to be up for sale a little bit, because if you just need to name one school, well, they said you just need to name at least one college or program before being granted recognition, then I can open up my own freaking accreditor agency and just, and then I become a recognition. So it's kind of like this. It sounds like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it sounds like it's devaluing the accreditation system a little bit. That's what it sounds like. That's what it's theorizing. It sounds like. Like and subscribe. Man, tell your professional people to come tap in with us, man. All them people out there who got masters and doctoral degrees not tapping in on this channel, giving their inputs, commenting on this live stream. Shame on you. You're not doing, there's no value in today's, I would say, oblivious education system. You're not doing us no justice today. Naughty. I'm on you. So right here, they're talking about the First Amendment, free speech policies. I'm not too keen on that. I think that's easy to fix once the administration leaves with the free speech and all this going on, hopefully. So we're not going to worry too much about that. So then the civil rights issues, the proposal would drag accreditors into the Trump administration's crusade against DEI programs in higher education. That is going to be a topic. I know people out there writing DEI articles right now. And so I'm not the biggest on the civil rights issues and, all this that's going on with the Trump administration. I don't really focus on that. I really focus on you saving money in college, like starting at a 2-year bridge to a 4-year articulation agreement, because based on my background, I feel like that's the ultimate guideline you would need. If you weren't about DEI, you definitely should start a 2-year bridge to a 4-year, because it's just going to set you up. And so that gives you the, like DEI, when I hear DEI and when I go over DEI, because I had to learn about it in grad program, DEI is about making sure everybody has a fair advantage. What's more of a fair advantage than you starting at a 2-year bridge to a 4-year? Then from that 4-year, if you say, well, I think, I want to go to Ivy League for grad school or something, you can. So you go from, like, if you're an athlete, you go from JUCO to D1. Hold up, for me, it's like this. You can do it like, for me, it was JUCO. I went D2 to my university, then I went D1 in grad school. Or you can go from JUCO, D1, then go to your grad school Ivy, because Ivy is like the professionals, That's how I see it. That's how, because it's just like those schools have so much money that I don't even think it's funny how much money these Ivies got. And so you go Ivy, it's kind of like you stamping yourself. Like, it's like, and I'm a big 2-year believer, guys, but really and realistically, I'll tell anybody right now, learning what I know now about Ivy Leagues after going to grad school, listening to a person on the live screen, shout out to G. Hopefully G is doing well today. But listening to people, you know, that's the beauty of why I love live streaming. Honestly, why I like it, love it, is because I get to learn from, at least trying to create a community where I can learn from other people. And so, yeah. And then I just learned that Ivy League is like, it's just that place. It's not, I'm not saying that it's better than my 2-year, because, you know, I'll debate you to death about my 2-year or 2-year colleges just being just as good as Ivy League. I just think Ivy League is surrounded by a lot of people who have that discipline and that factor about getting things done. And I could be wrong, but I just think it's a lot of them there. And some of them probably go to Ivies and don't do nothing with their education. But Ivy is just that stamp, you know, like that. I just been bought in on it so far. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just been bought in on it a little bit. And then, especially like somebody said in that recent post, if you caught our last live stream, like somebody said in the recent post, like with the way education, the way higher education is going today, or education is going today, like people don't really know the difference. Like I was a part of that. I didn't know the difference between what's credible and not credible. And we live in a time where people think you getting some information off of TikTok, YouTube, Google AI overview, like how I might say this is off AI Google overview. I don't know how accurate this is, y'all, but like a lot of people don't know the difference between what's credible and what's not credible. And so we're devaluing the degree right now. And so it's actually beneficial to get a degree. They're telling you you don't need one, but you really do need one, because you think Elon Musk, you think any of these billionaires trying to go to space is hiring people who don't know how to research and development? Like what? Like research and development is literally people who are scholarly doing the research. You can bring them in-house, they work for you and they research, getting the scholarly articles, doing the research, hypothesis, you know, all that data, running tests, running all that, and formalizing it into a methodology and all that. So you really believe these people saying that, oh, you don't need to go to college? All right. It's kind of like what Jay-Z said about OJ. Like he was like, oh, I'm not black, I'm OJ. It's kind of like that phrase when Jay-Z said, okay. So it's like when you say you don't need to go to college, I'm like, okay. You know, it's gonna be like when that pay gets stagnant and you can't move and you stuck, and it feels like you're trying to bob and weave and you can't. You gotta sit there. I ain't even a boxer, but that's what it feels like when you don't have education. You are stuck. You realize I didn't say college education. I said education. You're stuck. So like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe. So that's all I got to say about that section. I don't really know much about it to read through it like that. But they're talking about Title 4. That's Title 4, yeah. Title 4 during appeals process. I don't know much about the Title 4. I think that Title 4 is about financial aid to the fourth power. I think that's about financial aid. Yep, federal aid. Oh, let me change the camera view. Yeah, federal aid. Then they talk about academic freedom definition. So the proposal would, I think, as a higher education professional, I think I would tell you all that academic freedom definition, the proposal would require accreditors to enforce academic freedom protections among faculty. The concept of academic freedom is widely supported across higher education. However, the education department's language is concerning because it dictates what such a policy should look like and how it should be enforced. It would put accreditors in the role of enforcing policies with respect to ideology and viewpoint, and would create an opportunity for the federal government to step in when it disagrees, which is terrible. That is bad. That is so bad. Really, guys, that's not good. We have to protect our academic freedom. I wish I could just put a whole bunch of professors online right now, like a million of them, So the point of academic freedom is like, I'll be honest with you guys. I had a lot more freedom what to say when I was in college than I do in the real world. And in college, we talked about politics. We talked about uncomfortable topics that you can't talk about today, even on camera. You know, like from military, wars, politics, the gender things, the your sexuality, you know, all these conversations that need to have or be have, you can't talk about those in today's world. So academic freedom gives you that power to write about these things, research about these things, articulate to each other in a formal debate about why you disagree or agree about it, and you go your other way when class is over. You know, and I feel like that's where college teaches you the humbleness about the importance of education. You know, like when people was talking about the Charlie Kirk thing, right? And so I don't feel awkward talking about the Charlie Kirk thing on camera, because if anybody went to college or anybody knows, like it should never get to that point, because with proper education, that's what it's supposed to prevent. And we're supposed to know how to sit down and talk, right? Some things were gone out of proportion and things got out of hand, but I think it's why we should go to college. Seriously. Because if we don't go to college, I strongly believe there will be situations like that again and again and again. And so that's why we go to college, because we got to be able to talk to each other. We have to be able to communicate. Education is a big reason how we can communicate and be civilized. You know, it's kind of like the John Wick movie, when they say, like, if we don't have rules and structures, for everybody that like John Wick, if we don't have rules and structures or discipline, we're just like the rest of them. You know, they were talking about the regular people who was not in their society. They're like, we're just like the rest of them. We got to have structure and discipline. That's why even though John Wick was the baddest, Booba Yaga or Boogeyman, whatever, he was not above the society. Similar to the, yeah, I thought I was gonna say it, then you, nah, I'm on point. So intellectual diversity, I don't know what that is. At the very end of the negotiated rulemaking, the department added a new requirement that accreditors would need to enforce an intellectual diversity standard. So we're gonna call this IDS, intellectual diversity standard. This is essentially the government dictating through accreditors that colleges maintain policies to facilitate more conservative ideas on campuses. It is government overreach and presents a danger for the continued independence of American higher education. The plan will also demand colleges measure student and faculty opinions on the range of viewpoints and perspectives offered by the institutional program, but it sets out no examples of how to do so. So pretty much kind of going with the what they say right here. It's kind of merged. I see why they put it together. It's kind of merging with the academic freedom. It's more tailored to your professors, instructors. So if you're like, one of the examples we wrote about in school was that like professors cannot talk about, like, what's the, like the recent one, what you couldn't talk about, I think it's DEI. If you talked about DEI, for example, if you talked about, like, your instructor planned on teaching a DEI course, for example, by law, depending on what state you're in, you can literally tell on your professor. Like, if you are that student who might be whatever, you just be like, all right, we don't supposed to be talking, like, you don't supposed to be teaching this DEI. So I'm gonna record you and show this program off. So it's kind of like, I believe it falls into that category of, like, they want in Georgia, for example, the USG wants, for example, like the USG wants the University System of Georgia. I think they passed it, if I'm not mistaken. They want instructors to post their syllabus on the school website. That's what they want to do. The University System of Georgia wants to post all instructors who are instructing. They have to post their syllabus on public website. And what that does is that allows for, like, no, not, you think the federal government is going to look? No, it sends out the minions who want to tell on the school. And, you know, like, inform the federal government, which is like Department of Education. They're federal. So usually the federal government, Department of Education, is supposed to be boots on the ground, auditing schools that are not doing what they're supposed to. And sometimes those things, like the school could be doing a great thing, like instructing the proper, like, how can you say they're doing the right thing of instructing what they need to, or they feel like they should be instructing. That's part of education and liberation. But unfortunately, in an administration like now, they're essentially not doing what they're supposed to do, so they can get in trouble now. But I feel like that's where it's leaning toward with the intellectual diversity requirement. So it's crazy they put diversity in. It's kind of petty. Transfer of credits. I really think this is important, because this is part of what I talk about all the time about you transferring from a 2-year to a 4-year. I think the way we cooking today, this is gonna be it. I was gonna talk about the NIL in trouble, but this alone is, this is cooking. This is that shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This that shit you need to play. This shit you need to listen to. But hey, that's the world we in right now. We ain't listening. So transfer credits. The question of which credits would be allowed or should be allowed to be transferred among institutions has long bedeviled the sector. Bedeviled. Oh my goodness. Not the movie. It must mean something bad then.
Bedeviled.
Bedeviled. Bedevil is a verb that means to cause persistent trouble. Okay. So college credit should be allowed to be transferred among institutions has long bedeviled the sector. The draft rule attempts to bring some clarity to these types of processes and would require accreditors to check whether a college maintains a transfer of credit policy. That policy must allow for transfer of credits from any college accredited by an education department recognized accreditor, so long as the completed coursework is comparable in content and learning outcomes. Students will also have 15 days to appeal any denial of credit transfer under the required institutional policy. It's kind of the same. I'm gonna be real with you, because at the end of the day, but this school better be following. Let's be clear. The institutions like these universities and 2 years, they better be following these rules that the federal government is saying. I like that. I support that, because it's a lot of times students are like, all right, it makes what I say simple. It kind of makes you feel like you don't have to follow the articulation agreement so much to transfer to an institution. Because really, guys, you can take, at least in Georgia, you can take college algebra, the same college algebra at a 2-year, but if you transfer to some 4-year, they can still deny it, even though it can be the same at their university, if not easier at the university. They can still deny it because maybe they just want you to take the class again. More money for the school. You having to repeat the class. Think about it. If you come in with 60 credits, associate's degree, if you come in with 60 credits, that's 60 credits that university is missing out on. That's 60 credits of money they missing out on. Remember, we always count the credits. Remember that we always count the credits. Remember that we always count the credits. You got me taking my glasses off. Got my, real quick. Remember when I be like 12 times this per credit hour? Same concept. So when you go to a university, let's say you transfer from a 2-year to a university. Damn, I should have been did an example on this. Let's say you do 60 times. Oh, I ain't even gonna confuse y'all like that. I'm gonna do the per credit hour. A university. I remember a student, real quick. I'm gonna come back to that. I remember a student in the comment section from one of my first videos. They said, can you use real numbers? So I'm gonna use a real number right now. What school do we all like? The first school that comes to my mind is the University of Texas. So I'm going to do the University of Texas. I don't know why that school is on my mind. University of Texas. Oh, I'm hyped. University of Texas. University of Texas. Tuition and fees. Hold on. Hold on, this better not be your school who just dropped in this live screen. Hold on, this better not be your school. Yeah, you better go. It might be your school. I'm sorry. Hold on. So look. So cost of tuition, I'm gonna do tuition rates. This is the University of Texas. You know what I'm saying? This is the University of Texas, undergraduate, right? What we looking at? Fall. Oh boy, they already got fall and spring 2026. What's up? What's up with it? Who you with? So look, University of Texas. For many out there who probably wondering what's the University of Texas, what am I talking about? I got you. I had to do the University of Texas. They don't even show me the freaking. It's cool though. They're actually perfect. That's actually perfect. I can do that. I'll show you what I'm gonna do real quick. University of Texas. Let me show y'all something. I gotta get your attention real quick. Yes, I'm talking about this school right here, University of Texas. You know, man, you know where my boy Arch Manning go. You know what I'm saying? That school. So look, you see that they said with 12 plus credit hours, right? You see 12. Oh, I'm thinking, y'all see that right there, man? You see what my mouse said? 12 plus credit hours is 5738. All right. So all I need to do, what I need to do, y'all? What I need to do? 12 plus 12 is 24. So if I do 24 times, I think that'd be times. Yeah, because if I do, no. Let me try. Hold on. I think I'm doing it wrong. Hold on, my brother. As Drake would say, hold on, brother. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna have to do like 5738. Y'all probably got the number y'all here. Y'all probably like, this man can't figure it out. I can't, my brain racing. 5738 times really plus 60. No, not plus 60. It's right in my face. And I can't figure it out. Because I want to do the credit hour way. That's why. I want to do it that way. Hold on. I'm gonna pick a different school. Actually. No, I'm gonna do it this way. Yeah, they ain't gonna defeat me. I'm gonna do it this way. So if they saying 5738, I think if I do divided by 12, yeah, I'm getting 478 and 17 cent, right? So if I do 478, 16 cent times 12, I get 5737.92, right? I get that number right there. Because what I did was I divided 5738, I divided that by 12, which gives me the tuition per credit hour of how much they're charging me per credit hour to go to the school. So I'm gonna go back up and backspace 478 and 16 cents times 60 credit hours. Because remember, you only need 60 credit hours to get your bachelor's at the transfer from a 2-year. That's 28. That's pretty much 27. Pause. That's pretty much 29,000 rounded. That's pretty much $29,000 for every person that that goes to the school. Now, I'm not saying imagine if every student started a 2-year and went to the University of Texas, because that's not possible. But when you have then you do all right, if I do $28,689 times 100 students, that's $2.8 million they missing. That's $2.8 million they could have been that could have happened. So what am I saying? I'm saying that's why you probably won't see so many agreements, so many articulation agreements, so many credits being accepted. And that's why I agree, going back to the cheat sheet, that's why I agree with that. They're saying that, look, the education department recognized accreditor. They said that the policy must allow for transfer of credits from any college accredited by an education department recognized creditor. Are they going to hopefully follow that rule? Because I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to fix like what's really going on in higher ed. I don't know, because it can go so many, it can be spent off so many ways. We have to see how it plays out. But that's how much money your school could be missing. Playing the game at a different level. And when you understand, when you play the game like that, when you understand how the game is going in higher ed, shout out to Wall Street Trapper, bro. Because he be right. Like when you understand how the things work and you understand why it's like it is. And I'm not saying that it's like how can I put it? I'm not saying that universities are bad. Like 2 years of doing the same thing, you know, like it's more of like, if you understand why the school charges so much and why they're charging that much, like I said, they're charging you $478 per credit hour to go to the University of Texas, Austin. I believe that's what it's called, right? University of Texas at Austin. So when you understand that, oh, my cheat sheet at? When you understand it, you know how to pick your school. You really know how to love your school. But you got to remember, your school is a business at the end of the day. You know, like your school might ask you to do stuff. Like my school asked me to take pictures for the program. I didn't have no leverage because look, me saying no, they could just pick somebody else. You know, like it is what it is. But you got to understand, like, yeah, man, schools are a business, man. And it just helps you pick your school better. Also, it helps you save money, helps you get ahead. So, that's for transfer credits. I hope y'all like that. That was a good segment. I gotta clip that. If I don't clip nothing, I gotta clip that. I gotta clip that. They talk about student achievement. One area of the bipartisan agreement is that accreditors should pay closer attention to student outcomes. Something. But let's see. A debate over tightening expectations around what accreditors review occurred during the Biden administration. But the Trump administration's proposal goes further, spelling out specific outcomes accreditors will have to evaluate and how they would need to do it. Under that draft, accreditors would need to set minimum benchmarks at both. Okay, typical. Same. This is pretty good. Separation from professional associations. All right, I gotta read this. I think Alex is taking a nap, so I can't even ask her. Al, she's taking a nap. How's she taking a nap with me talking like this? That's the real question. So the Trump administration, because I'm loud, y'all. I am talking loud. The Trump administration has argued that professional associations and similar membership organizations often exert too much influence over the accreditors that oversee their respective fields. Administration officials have repeatedly pointed to the American Bar Association, the primary accreditor for law schools, as an example, criticizing the organization for what they describe as politically driven standards and excessive overlap between the trade association and its accrediting arm. The Education Department has proposed significantly tightening the statutory requirement that accreditors be separate and independent from related trade, professional, and membership organizations. Members of an accreditor's decision-making body will not be able to be selected by affiliated associations or serve as staff for those organizations. It will also force accreditors to maintain much more stringent, conflict of interest controls, such as separating dues and finances from affiliated organizations. Such as separating dues and finances from affiliated organizations and developing budgets without their consultation. I don't know how to play that. But the way I thought about it when I read that part again, I'll be honest with you, when I read that part right there, separating dues and finances from affiliated organizations. So the organizations can charge their dues And then if we saying the schoolhouse is charging their dues, now we got two separate dues. You know, like the institution got their dues. Now this organization got theirs. Like the bar might cost like, I think my bro is paying like, I think his bar is like 1,000 or 2,000 or more or something like that. I think it's way more than that. And just to take the bar and just the prep for the bar and take the bar. And if you're saying that the dues are separate from the organization and the institution, like, I don't know. That's confusing in itself, because that could be like, it sounds like if I'm the consumer, like I am, I'm gonna have to be the person who has to figure out, like, okay, so y'all want me to pay for both of these because y'all can't agree? Yeah. Okay. Literally, pen tap. So I hope y'all enjoyed everything on the live stream tonight. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this. I didn't even want to cover the NIL in trouble because that was very good just going through those. I love going through like policy breakdowns. I wish it was more of those, like, you know, more just like, I like how you did the highlights and stuff like that. Those are very good topics because these changes are coming. It's not like it might be coming, it's coming. Like once they officially sound off, like he said, what's next? The Trump administration, he said, what's next? The Trump administration intends for its rule to take effect next year. So I believe they said next year. I thought this was already taking effect, just me. But I thought it was taking effect next month. But I don't know. This could be next year. But these topics are very good to have, though. These topics can help prevent us, you, me, him, her, he, ho, from going into student loan debt, avoidance, understanding how it works, like simply why you should get your associate's degree, because that gives you 60 credit hours worth of a degree, right? And then bridging to a university, which gives you what? Another 60 hours usually. It's like always 100. It's like 120. I think they're trying to slice it to 100 or 90. They're trying to have people get like 90 credit hour degrees and stuff like that. But you know, just understanding that. That's simple. Like if you don't take anything from this live stream, if you play it to the end, or hopefully I said in the beginning, if you just play this a little bit and catch this, like starting at a 2-year, bridging to a 4-year saves you $10,000 or more. Especially you have to stay off campus and don't get a meal plan. I say it so much that it's like normal to me. I used to be excited when I said it to people. And now it's like, you know, you got to do it, guys. Like, I'm like, it's really a necessity to do it. It's like when people say you should, like how everybody's in the stock market today and they say, oh, you need to invest. It's a necessity. Like getting your education an affordable way is a necessity. Like college is like, they won't say it, but college is like one of your most expensive purchases besides a house. Like, I think it's more expensive than a house because most people don't go to schools like I went to or you went to. If you went to a 2-year, then to a 4-year, nobody is going to school like that. Like we're going. They're going to these big schools like we just reviewed, like University of Texas. They're going to the UGAs. They're going to the University of Miami's. They're going to the schools they see on March Madness, and that's good. But imagine that you did everything right. You took the appropriate route, and just because you didn't understand that you shouldn't get a meal plan and you shouldn't get housing, you know, you understood that, but they didn't. And so now you're kind of like footing the bill for them, essentially. So, you know, what if they say the $1.7 trillion of a student loan debt has to be paid back in taxes? Now our taxes are high because people didn't want to. They're just hypothetical. It's not true. It's not happening. But it's just like, you never know, like that could be a reason. You know, like, I don't know. Just saying. It could be, right? But if I'm just ranting. And so you have to keep in mind that take action, take control. This is a chance to take control of your life. Like it's affordable schools out there still in times where it feel like it's not affordable skill. It's not affordable schools. It's a lot of resources out there. The internet, like really knowing, like that's why I'm a big advocate why you should go to college, because when you use Google, you can identify things that are like, oh man, the internet is giving me the answer to this because you understood what you were looking for. So the internet gave you the answer. Like and subscribe, man. So that's all I'm saying. Not preaching. More just saying, because I lived it, I did it, and I'm still walking it. Like, remember, y'all, I just had like, if I had to put this in a clip, small clip, the end of the live screen rant or something, like I was in like 2 back-to-back car accidents. I just had a collapsed lung, but luckily I used that as an example that I started at a 2-year college and been saving my money and working and living below my means of going to the schools that set me up, not just going to a school because it's named, but schools that set me up. Medical bills was able to, be paid. Some still need to be paid. That's real life. Some medical bills still need to be paid. The car still need to be paid off, but we still flowing. I'm not saying that it's not real right now. It's 100% real. And so I'm still here with you all, as I say, the live screen hasn't really, or the YouTube channel is not like a million views or something where it's like, oh yeah, I can say this. I'm here with you all still. So I get to see it on the ground with kids every day. Cause I remember I work in higher education. So I'm still giving you the information that's really helpful and genuine that can save you tons of money in college. So you can start your life sooner. Okay. Peace, love, chicken grease. See y'all again. We almost hit that 1 hour 30. I thought I was going to run into that. And I will see you all Thursday, and we will be back strong. Stay safe. Don't drink and drive. And go everywhere in groups. Hold on.